So let's talk about the M1 money supply and explain exactly what that is. With the M1 money supply, I think I'll start off by just explaining what exactly the M1 money supply is, because I've had a few questions on that, and I also want to say this is on Friday I am going to be drawing for the 5-ounce giveaway here. All these pieces could be yours. Link is on the screen somewhere depending on the device, but go check that out because yeah, it's 5 ounces of silver. It's going to be a Millstacks round in there as well, and a few other fun pieces. So yeah, don't miss out on that, go enter. Yeah, what the M1 money supply is basically all the money that is ready for a transaction. Let's say our central bank creates some money, buys a security, that money ends up going to a bank. They need to have, let's say they could loan out 10 times as much currency as they have right now. So what will happen with that is they'll loan out money and they'll have the amount of money that they can create is ready for transactions. You could write checks with that money. You could basically, when people could come in, get a loan, they could go out. So it's money ready for a transaction. That is basically what it is, but that reserve money doesn't count. People's savings doesn't count. That any savings account, stuff like that is not included because it's not ready for a transaction. The money that the central bank has printed, if that is in a bank used as reserve currency, it doesn't count. Just to go over that once more, the central bank creates money, buys a security. Let's say $2 go to the bank this time. $1 goes out. They still have $10 of money ready for transactions, essentially. Plus there's that other dollar that is out there in cash in someone's wallet. That's ready for a transaction. So that's all included in the M1 money supply. Even though there's a $12 in existence, you have to minus that $1 that is in the bank, that came from the central bank. You have to take that out because you can't double count. That would be kind of the base money supply, let's say. Now since we've kind of understood what the M1 money supply is, now since we know that's all the money that is available for transactions. So once again, no savings, that's not included. Money market accounts, not included. That is not ready for a transaction. So now since we understand the M1 money supply, let's go over what just happened with it in all of 2020, because what a year. We have had the M1 money supply start underneath 4 trillion. Now it's up over 6.6 trillion. It almost went up 75%. That is a lot. That is phenomenal rates of growth in the M1 money supply. And now keep in mind, the value of everything, including dollars, is basic supply and demand. When the supply goes up on the dollar, the value, it will go down. But guess what? The value didn't go down a whole lot. It went down, but not a whole lot because the demand has gone up. There's all this uncertainty. That money that's being printed went into people's pockets who are saving it. It might have gone into everyone's pockets at first, but the people who need it most spend it right away because they've got bills, they have everything that they need to pay immediately. Then it ends up in someone's pockets who basically is saving it. Then the process has tended to repeat throughout all the craziness, and I believe it'll repeat again. And that is basically leading to these phenomenal rates of growth. And with all the uncertainty, it's being saved, so we get the demand rising with the supply. All this money, you have to keep in mind, is ready for a transaction. It's ready to be spent. It's not in savings accounts, it's not in money market accounts, it's not stored away for a extended period of time. The M1 money supply is You could spend it tomorrow, today, whenever. So when people start to spend money and more places open up, that's gonna I believe, I'm not a financial advisor, but I believe that's gonna reduce the demand for the dollar. People are gonna go and do things that they weren't allowed to do before. But you can't just reduce the supply like that. And you can't really stop the money printing and everything and people taking out money to spend unless you raise interest rates. But guess what? The economy can't handle higher interest rates. So this little trick of the past of raising those rates doesn't really work today. It's a little phenomena that is taking place right now that we haven't really seen in our lifetimes, essentially. At least not in America or Canada or anything like that, really. I also don't believe that these interest rates can remain this low. They're artificially being dropped down to make it so that people can afford their debts. But dropping that down encourages more debt because it's easier to pay it off with these low rates. That tells me that the M1 money supply is probably going to continue to go up and up and up and up and up, just based on these low interest rates. If the rates went up, I could see the M1 money supplies rise, start to stop, maybe even go down a little bit. A lot of people will be out of work. That's the downside to it. A big part of the economy cannot handle the significant raise in interest rates. Something that would be needed to stop the inflation or printing continuing. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the M1 money supply. And a big part of this is why I buy gold. I really enjoy owning gold, and I believe that the money supply is going to keep going up. I don't think the demand for the dollar is sustainable. I believe that people are wanting to spend money, but they might not be allowed to go spend that money. And I think there's also all this uncertainty that people don't want to spend money in uncertain times typically because they may need that money later on. And yeah, it's just my thoughts, just my opinions, not a financial advisor. Just thought I'd share what I've been seeing with the M1 money supply. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. I'd love to know your opinions. So yeah, it kind of sums it all up. Stay positive. See you next time, and go enter my 500 subscriber giveaway. Because yeah, 5 ounces in that. And I'm sure you guys would enjoy all the fun pieces, such as the ½ ounce polar bear. Because who doesn't like polar bears? And also the 1 ounce beaver, because who doesn't like beavers? So yeah, that sums it all up. Stay positive. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.